Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in here for Murder Church, getting ready to come at you. Episode 20, believe it or not. The Phil Spector Hollywood murder trial. Still at it. Still got a long ways to go, but we're kicking ass, actually. We're on video 58 of about 230. Again, a real life 6-month trial. Today we're looking at paramedic firefighter David Riggs taking the stand. So we're going to be starting the morning with David Riggs. Please give this a like, share it out, let people know that you are hanging out with Murder Church and Publicly Buzzed this morning. Coming off an absolutely insane Fail Friday, all night long movie marathon that was incredible. Let people know, hit that like, share it out. I've just posted on X also. I'd really appreciate you guys sharing it out. Thank you so much. Coming at you. Let's go.
Let's rock.
Yo, everybody. Murder Church in the house. I'm still recovering from Friday night into Saturday morning. Holy shit. Yesterday was insane. I'm still playing the recovery game, guys. Everyone, welcome in here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, hit the like if you have not. That helps out Publicly Buzzed and helps out the channel so freaking much. Again, of course, I stayed up late per usual, but and going into Saturday morning, I went to bed at like pretty much 7:30. Then got up at about, I think I got up at 1. So I got like almost like a normal night of sleep, but that's a little bit different when it's coming in the daytime in the morning and not exactly how you're used to getting it. Everyone coming in here, appreciate it. Thank y'all so much. Everyone that hung out that night, thank y'all so much. Everyone that donated that night, holy shit, we had an absolutely incredible evening of people coming through and getting on the wheel, which the wheel is still in play to this morning. We are 4 names right now to start it off, so we are 8 away from a new spin. But everyone that came through here, I just want to take a second to thank you all so freaking much. The hype train was off the rails is what it was. It was absolutely insane. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that I appreciate the fuck out of that. Sarah in the house, Charlene's in the house, Shannon's in the house, Dizzy's in the house. Are those popping up? Yes, they are. And also it's the Botrix. Yes, it is. We're on top of it today, baby. Jin's in the house. Simi Sharp's in the house. Wildside coming through right now. CH, what's up? What's up? What's up? Sheila Duffy hanging and banging. If anybody sees Bonnie Bailey, if you're hanging out there, let me know. I did finally get some traction on your shirt that is coming to Canada, and it started moving. So I'll expect that thing hopefully this week. I am absolutely blown away by how long it got stuck here in the U.S., instead of just going into it was a custom situation in the U.S. before it even gets to Canada. I shipped something to Australia that got there immediately almost in comparison. I have no clue how that works with Canada. But Taryn Dusty, what is up? Everybody, I see a full house in here this morning, and I really freaking appreciate it. Still just kind of scrolling up here, making sure, trying not to miss anybody. Debbie, what's going on? Drew Gambino is hanging and banging this morning. That's what I'm talking about. Not messing around. everybody back there. Thank y'all so much. As I said earlier, there she is. Yes, that should be on the way, Bonnie. Okay, I did get some traction on that thing, and it finally actually started to show its movement, and it again had a custom message underneath it. So that thing should be on the freaking way. As soon as you get that one, we will get your other one ordered. I'm less worried now. I was like, what is going on? I don't like this at all. Queen Olive, what's up? Good morning. One thing I'm going to have to do as we get started, again, we're going to be starting out with firefighter slash paramedic David Riggs taking the stand. We got about an hour with David, and I'm going to go make a coffee to get this thing really kicked up a notch. I'm going to need that. Our ex-girl popping in here, Rachel popping in here. I love to see it, guys. Again, hit that like as you pop through. Really helps us out. Oh my God. I don't feel like shit, but it's been brutal on my body. And I do this like, I'm not going to say I stay up all night regularly, because I don't. Like, I never just stay up all night long, but I do stay up late on the reg. But still, like, this one was a little bit rough. I'm feeling it, baby. I was feeling it. That's for sure. And maybe I should have taken a nap. Maybe I should have prepared a little bit better. Maybe that's up to me. I don't know. But, hell yes, that's what I'm talking about. Steve-O, Drew and I are both sporting gear today. Drew's shirt and I got my Kool-Aid. Hell yes, that's what I'm talking about. I knew that mug went out also, Jen. I love to hear that. And then today after the show, I'm going to put in another round of orders. Anybody that doesn't know, YouTube pays out on the 21st of each month. And yeah, my next round of orders is going to be purchased today. And let's see who's going to be on there real quick. Let's just see where we're at. Because we have so many coming through. I'm slightly behind, but that is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. The last things that I'm waiting on Gail's shirt to get to me physically so I can send that out to Canada. Her first one, mind you. And then I'm up to Laura, who I still need to... No, hold on. Let me make sure I get this right. Oh, no, my bad. Bonnie Bailey's Hanging and Banging 2X, which I'm going to skip just until you get that first one, and then that one will get purchased. So we're going to do today, we're going to do Akasha's Publicly Buzzed Lightning Bolt shirt. We're going to do... Gail's already up for another shirt as I'm waiting on her first one. So I'm going to skip that one for now, Gail, until we can get everything sorted out on the way to Canada. I don't want to have two out there at the same time and have a possibility of getting lost. I just want to make sure everything's cool. So today's going to be Akasha. Taryn Dusty's next up here. Got a Buzz Mysteries medium coming to you, babe. And then I need another one. I need to get with Laura. If anybody sees Laura in the chat, I need to get with her via email or on X. Either way, I need to get... She has two coming, but I need to get at least one version of hers with a size and an Addy as well to send that to. So I'll be looking for her information today. But yeah, we're going to do a little bit more purchasing on that side of things. And yeah, man, the ball never stops rolling, baby. Never stops rolling. You guys fucking rule. You guys fucking rule. And yeah, let me just make sure we're ready to rock and roll here real quick. And I'm going to go upstairs and make a coffee. Make sure the sound is working. There is our ghoul, our local ghoul, at least a Publicly Buzzed. Phil Spector. Let's rock and roll, guys. Thanks a lot, seriously.
All right, back on the record. The defendant's now present with his counsel. The district attorney.
And I'll be checking periodically, of course. The thing that was going crazy on Friday was the Cash Apps. Anybody's coming through the Cash Apps, Venmo, PayPal, all that, keeping an eye on that for the will, just so you know. And yes, let's rock.
Alternates
Coffee
not
time.
Present, yes.
Your Honor, just
Good Die Hard, baby. Alan Jackson, baby.
And we emailed the defense last night.
Bit of a dream team.
Slight variation in our witness list.
Oh shit, the bells. Oh, good call, Bassett Page. Good freaking call. Almost forgot the bells this morning. Let's all calm down. Let's all get in our seats. Let's just calm the hell down. Bells are ringing. Oh shit, they're not coming through. Hold on, my bad. I've hit a few sound effects. I wonder if this reset. Hold on 1 second, my friends. 1 second. Let me open her up. First of all, the whole thing shut down on me. Stream Deck. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. There she is. Is she going to work? Hold on. I got it. Stream Deck, boom. In the middle of the bells, I'm going to give you some fresh bells. Hold on. Everyone just remain seated, remain calm. I know this is a big moment, and it is. You have to start the Publicly Buzzed Murder Church live stream with the bells, baby. And that's right in the chat right there. Let us pray. If anybody sees Laura in the chat as she comes through this morning, please let her know that I'd like to talk to her, whether that's with email or on Twitter, about what she wants to do shirt-wise, guys. I'll be right back.
We're going to be calling David Riggs and Esther Pineda-Rodriguez.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
This afternoon, based on some of the cross-examination that was gone into yesterday with Officer Heckers and others. One witness we don't intend to call, so we may have a little extra time today that we didn't expect. And I know the court was very clear about trying to fill the day up.
Okay.
We've been doing as best we can.
I understand.
We do at least have 2 witnesses today.
All right.
And Ms. Bodden may need a little bit of time between one of the witnesses, because although we did email
All right, taking my phone with me.
Mr. Rosen yesterday, Ms. Bodden did not get the email.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have the, I'm sorry, I have the emails to Karen Crusoe, David Riggs, and Esther Rodriguez Pineda. Because when we left yesterday, they were calling Lilienfeld, so we were ready on the 3 of those, but when I just got in now, they're omitting Caruso. So we're going to need time between the Pineda direct and cross.
Good.
Okay.
We can stretch,
Okay, thank you, Judge.
because as everyone's aware, well, we'll deal with that other thing. Okay, anything further?
No, Your Honor, just wanted to inform the court.
Mr. Dixon?
Well, I was just going to, no fault over there, but it does highlight a continuing problem. If we tell one person who we're going to call, but it doesn't quite get the whole group over there. Mr. Rosen, and that's why we've been sending Mr. Rosen the emails, because he and I communicate often, and I send him those emails, and then Penny Bodden says she doesn't get it. So I just asked the court to maybe ask them to designate one person that we need to communicate with. It's difficult communicating with 5 or 6 or however many.
I thought you had selected one person to be the lead lawyer. That's you, isn't it, Mr. Rosen?
Yes.
They got this at 6 o'clock last night, and still had Carrie Crusoe on it.
Okay,
That's the problem.
Mr. Rosen will be your point person, and he's responsible and will be severely punished if he doesn't communicate.
I thought that's what you've been doing to me all along.
Oh, just wait.
You mean the best is yet to come?
Just you wait. There's another issue. You had submitted to me this email, I guess is from Mr. Pavlik. The question, I think it's discoverable.
Your Honor, that's totally up to the court. I don't see it under 1054, but that's...
I do. Okay, turn it over.
That's what controls.
That's right. All right, thank
And
you.
Your Honor, do you want us to mark this in front of the jury, the Z? That would be the EMT.
As soon as they come out.
As soon as they come out.
Okay. Let's bring out the jurors. All right, the record will now reflect the presence of the jurors and the alternates, and you wanted to mark an exhibit?
Yes, sir. I think we're up to Z, if I recall.
Correct.
From yesterday, it would be the 3-page report, EMS report, and the second page is out of hospital care report, pages 2 and 3, that Mr. Michael Brown indicated that he was testifying about yesterday.
Okay, thank you.
For the record, thank you.
All right. Your next exhibit will be AA. Okay. You ready to proceed?
We are, Your Honor.
You may.
We would ask David Riggs to join us, please.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give in the last nothing before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state and spell your name for the record.
David Riggs, Davidriggs.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, could you tell the jurors what you do for a living presently?
I'm a paramedic firefighter for Alhambra Fire Department.
And what was your job back in 2003?
The same, paramedic firefighter.
What did your duties include?
Responding to emergency calls, providing aid, public assist,
Medical aid as well as...
medical aid as well as fire response, yes.
Okay. So you were both a qualified firefighter as well as a qualified paramedic/EMT?
Paramedic is the correct term,
That's
yes.
the correct designation?
Yes.
Did I just insult you with the EMT part?
Not at all.
All right. We heard yesterday some testimony about the differences between paramedics and EMTs, and I must say I was completely confused. You have to become an EMT before you're a paramedic, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so you've the EMTs are little people to you.
Not at all. No, there's EMT1, EMT2, EMTP,
Okay.
and the P is paramedic.
And I said that jokingly. Obviously, a paramedic is substantially higher on the echelon than a beginning EMT, correct?
That's correct.
You have more training,
Yes.
more on-the-job training, as well as more formal training.
Yes.
Okay. What qualifies you to perform those duties? What training, let's talk about that for just a second. What training have you endured to become a paramedic and firefighter and do these responsive things that you've talked about?
As a firefighter, I attended a state-certified fire academy, and then a training tower at the Alhambra Fire Department, and then an 18-month probationary period. As a paramedic, I was sent by our fire department to Paramedic Training Institute in Los Angeles, where we did, I believe it's 9 months of coursework, and then several months of field work as well.
And what does that coursework and field work include? Give me an example.
Basic life support skills, and then advanced life support skills, cardiac interpretation, the administration of drugs.
Are you qualified to make pronouncements of death?
Yes.
What education, training, and background qualifies you to make pronouncements of death?
Actually, if I may make a correction, as a paramedic, the only pronouncement of death can come from an MD.
Okay.
We are allowed to determine death based on some county protocols.
So the county protocol actually makes a distinction between a pronouncement of death officially and a determination of death.
Correct.
All right, so you make determinations of death at the scene, whereas a medical doctor at some point subsequent to that may make the official pronouncement of death, which appears on a death certificate, for instance.
That's correct.
Okay. Let me ask you that next question, then. What qualifies you, what education, training, and background qualifies you to make those determinations of death?
The assessment of and for basic life functions, and in the absence of those basic life functions, we can determine death based on county policies.
All right. And does that include a determination of respiratory and cardiac functioning?
Respiratory, cardiac, and simple nervous system functions.
All right, and that can also include certain electronics that you may utilize. I don't necessarily need you to go into them at this point, but certain electronics that you may utilize during the course of making those assessments?
That is one option available to us.
Okay, we'll talk to you about that in just a second. Back in February of 2003, specifically in the early morning hours of February 3rd, 2003, what fire station were you assigned to?
Station 74.
Where is Station 74?
2505 West Norwood.
Is that in?
In the city of Alhambra.
Okay, that's in Alhambra specifically. Yes. Were you working with a partner that morning?
Yes, I was.
Who was your partner?
Rod Marino.
How do you spell his last name?
Merino.
Did you and or your partner receive any kind of a call out in the early morning hours of February 3rd, 2003?
Yes, we did.
Describe that for us, please.
We had been at another address on a previous call when we received a dispatch to 1700 South Grandview. We were told that the report included shots fired, and so we were to stage out, not proceed immediately into the address.
What time did you start your shift that day or within the 12 hours prior to that call out?
Our shift starts at 8 a.m., so that would have been 8 a.m. on the previous morning.
Okay. And how long is the normal shift?
24 hours.
And then I assume you get a couple of days off after that?
Yes.
Okay. You indicated that you staged in response to that call out. You staged at an area. What does that mean, to stage at an area?
To stage is to not proceed directly into the address, but to wait in a designated area for purposes of safety.
All right. I assume because you're a firefighter, you do not carry a gun.
That's correct.
Your partner does not carry a gun.
Correct.
Okay. So when you talk about safety, are you talking about safety of yourself as well as the general public when you're staging at a particular scene?
Generally, staging is specifically in regards to crew safety.
And you would be one of the crew?
Yes.
What time did you get to the staging location on February 3rd, 2003?
If I may review my notes, it was just a few minutes after 5 a.m.
Would that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
If you just tell us what you're referring to, we can probably follow along.
Yes, of course.
With the court's permission.
Absolutely. This is a copy of the EMS form that was filled out that morning after the call.
Okay, would that refresh your recollection as to what time you actually began staging?
Yes.
Okay, what time was that?
We arrived on scene at staging at 10 minutes after 5 a.m.
And where exactly was that staging location?
We staged at Grandview and Norwood.
All right. How far is that from the location of 1700 Grandview?
Approximately 1 block.
Take a look at what's previously been marked as People's 21 for identification, if you don't mind. It bears 2 photographs, People's 21A and 21B. 21A is a little bit dark. Can you see the area that I'm highlighting with my laser pointer right there?
Yes.
What is that area?
That is the house at 1700.
Okay. And it sits atop a sort of triangular, very large hill, correct?
Yes.
And there's lots of foliage around that hill, correct?
Yes.
The entrance is somewhere down in photograph 21A, where my laser pointer is now.
Yes.
Your Honor, for the record, I've indicated in the last 2 answers to the witness's question, basically the only residence prominently displayed in the middle of the foliage in photograph 21A, and then with regard to the driveway, basically dead center toward the bottom of photograph A.
Yes.
Thank you. Where you actually staged, I assume, is not on this photograph. You said you were about a block away?
That's correct.
How long did you stay at the staging location before you were actually, or I guess I should ask you foundationally, were you actually allowed entrance onto the premises?
We were allowed, yes.
All right. How long did you stage before you made your way onto the premises?
Very nearly 1 hour.
Okay. Is it normal operating procedure in a call-out like this where shots are presumed to have been fired to stage away from the location until the location can be completely secured for your presence and your crew's presence?
Yes.
Okay, so this was not out of the ordinary.
Correct.
You said it was approximately 1 hour that you staged. About what time was it, if you can refresh your recollection, if you don't know off the top of your head, that you actually made your way onto the premises?
It would be an estimate, but I would say approximately 6:05, 6:10 a.m.
Okay, and where did you go onto the premises?
Initially, we met with a police officer at the gate, and then we entered the front door, which is on the north side of the address.
Okay. Take a look at what's been previously marked, I believe, as People's 24, A, B, C, and D. Does that appear, or does that exhibit appear to depict certain photographs that reflect the front entrance?
Yes, A and B look like the gate through which we entered.
That's
and
A and B?
Correct.
Okay, and C?
C is the staircase leading to the front door,
And D?
a continuation of the staircase.
And obviously where my laser pointer is, that appears to be the front door, correct?
Yes.
Did you make your way into the residence?
Yes.
What was the purpose for your having been called out there? What did you understand the purpose for your having been called out there for?
My understanding of the initial call at approximately 5 a.m. that morning was that shots were fired and there may be a shooting victim at that address.
So you went prepared to make any assessment of a possible gunshot victim, correct?
That was our mindset when we arrived at staging.
How many times before this incident on February 3rd, 2003, would you estimate you had responded to shots fired calls where a victim was actually injured by a gunshot?
As a paramedic, probably 3 in my short history at that time.
All right. At this point, how many assessments or determinations of death had you made? For any reason, by the way.
That would be an estimate again, but probably 20, maybe more.
Okay. When you walked into the entrance of the front door, what did you find?
There were maybe a half dozen police officers busying themselves in the foyer. There was a woman in a chair in a slumped position to my left. She appeared to be dead just on initial, my initial perception. And the police indicated that she was the reason we were there, and we were there strictly to determine death.
Okay. May I have just a moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'd like you to take a look at what's been previously marked as People's 24 for identification. It's a series of 5 photographs. I'm sorry, I misread this. 29. Do you recognize, starting with photograph A, what's depicted in that photograph?
Yes.
Describe that for us. How do you recognize it?
That's the foyer of the address to which we were sent, and that is our victim in the chair against the wall.
Is that the perspective that you saw when you walked into the front door? In other words, walking the same direction as the camera is pointed right now?
Yes.
All right. Photograph B, do you recognize the person depicted in photograph B?
Yes.
How do you recognize her?
She was the victim that I assessed.
When you indicated you saw a female victim that appeared to be slumped in a chair, is this what you're describing?
That's correct.
All right. Did her position move any at all before you touched her? In other words, was she moving at all?
No.
All right. Did that play into your initial assessment when you walked in before you had done your full determination that she was deceased?
Yes.
All right. And I'm assuming the photograph C accurately reflects what you saw that morning?
That's correct.
Taking a look at photograph D and E, do you see the prominent blood that appears to be on the victim's face?
Yes.
Is that how she appeared when you saw her?
Yes.
Do you see that in photograph D specifically, that her head appears to be tilted or slumped to her left?
Yes.
Is that how she appeared when you saw her?
Yes.
I'd like to mark for identification 2 sets of photographs, Your Honor. They appear on 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. They both bear 2 photographs, A and B. People's next in order, I think, is 39.
It is 39, 39 A and B.
Thank you. I'll place a P39 on the first set of photographs and a People's 40 on the second set of photographs.
Well, you want to mark them as 2 exhibits now, 39 and 40, or 39 A and B?
39 A and B bears 2 photographs.
All right.
40 A and B is 2 separate photographs.
All right, thank
With
you.
permission.
You may.
Take a look at what's been marked as People's 39 A and B. Specifically, I want to draw your attention to, and actually this may be better served, Your Honor, if the witness can actually see the photographs close up.
That's fine.
Something's lost in translation on that helmet. Ms. Bodden? $39, $40. Take a look at what's been previously marked as People's 39 for identification, sir, and tell me if you recognize what appears to be on the victim's left side of the jacket. Do you see that?
The victim's left side of the jacket is not depicted.
I'm sorry, I said.
And my sound's not working. Can't stop seasoning this morning. Lord.
Left, I'm standing here looking at my left. It's her right side. My mistake. I'm sorry.
Yes.
What appears in 39 A and B to be on the right side of her jacket?
That appears to be blood on the lapel.
Is that how you? I'm sorry.
And on the jacket.
All right. Is that how you found her when you walked into the foyer that morning?
It is.
Did you see blood? That type of significant amount of blood.
Good morning. Welcome in, everybody. Real quick. Got some more business happening here in the chat. And some people getting on the wheel. If you're new in here and you don't know about the wheel, ask about the wheel, folks. That was me backstage. Ask about the wheel. You can get on that son of a bitch by donating any way possible, whether that's through this doing supers, giving out memberships here. And if you're not If you don't have your memberships turned on here on YouTube, make sure that that is happening, because we have very generous people, whether that's coming through the old Cash App, through the Venmo, any kind of donation will get you on that wheel, just like this right here. Bonnie Balin coming through. Doggy sitting today. Gotta hit the shower. Be right back. Bonnie Bailey. And a shirt is on her way right now. That's a 2-time winner right there. Bonnie Bailey, thank you so much for being in here. Dara coming through here. Dara Johnson, old school Publicly Buzzed member right here. Been around the way, 14 months? $5, one spin entry, please, and no problem at all. Got you on that son of a bitch. Thank you so much. Longtime supporter. And then coming through, showing all her memberships, Queen Olive, 4 months. It's been a lovely 4 months. Yes, it has, and it's went by very quickly. And thank you so much for coming in here and being amazing.
Happy anniversary.
And then she also said, on top of that, I'm going to gift out the opportunity for someone else to be a member here. And Dave Umbro got that thing. Welcome in here, Dave. And anybody that is new here that may not know, we have a lot of cool stuff for members in the video section. Go check that out right now and get the hell in here. On top of that, Jersey Jen welcoming in someone else, and Taryn Dusty got that one. So Darren Dusty also been around these parts for a long time now, getting membered up. Go watch the videos we got there. Thank you so much. Jersey Jen is a G in these parts, and she just received her Kool-Aid mug from the merch store from winning one of these win spills. Yes. And I'm rocking the hood today. Rocking the hood this morning. And it was not inverted. The wheel has not. There is no controversy about the wheel at this point in time, Meg. Let's not get that rolling. The wheel is a very controversial wheel. It has had some controversy in the past. Everyone, thank y'all so much for getting here. Going to get those new names on here, and I've got my coffee ready to roll.
Blood on her left side.
And again, my nose is killing me this morning.
Not on
it's
the
an allergy
anywhere
situation.
All right, take a look at what's been marked as people's 40 now.
Wheel filling up this morning.
Do you
Sure I'm
see
not missing
the
nothing through the old
left side
apps.
of the victim's jacket
Yes.
in both photograph A and a closer photograph B?
Yes.
Is that approximately how it appered when you walked in and saw the victim as she lay slumped in the chair?
Oh, that's
Yes, it is.
awesome. I'm going to get one of those too.
Again, I'd
Those are
ask you
sweet.
That's fine. And I should ask you before we take that off, well, that's okay. The picture's in front of you. Did there appear to be any significant blood on her left side?
No.
All right. Most of the blood flow was on her right side, is that right?
There was a minor amount of flow transversing the chest, but the majority of the blood appeared to be on the patient's right side.
Okay. Were you able to make a determination, sir, based on your observation of the victim as she lay in state, as she lay in that chair slumped, with the significant amount of blood on her right side, yet her head was tilted to the left? Were you able to make a determination in your mind as to whether or not her head had been moved at some point subsequent to that substantial bleeding?
The question occurred to me, how did the blood get on the patient's right side? I couldn't make a concrete determination, but the question did cross my mind on
Wild
the scene.
Side coming through here. Christine with a $5 holler through the Cash App. Oh, shit. I screwed this up, Wild Side. I see what you're saying here in your message. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to thank you so much for the $5.
It's possible that the patient's head was moved.
All right.
We'll see what happens there.
Did you notice
Put the name on the wheel.
blood on the victim's face?
Yes.
Did you notice blood on the victim's face other than the coming from the nose and the mouth?
Thank you so much, Wild Side.
No.
Okay. Did you notice blood on her chest?
Blow my nose again.
Yes.
Where on her chest?
As depicted on People's 40 A and B, it appears to have run from her nose and mouth across her chest from patient's left to right.
Drew with a $10 holler. Holy shit, Drew. What the fuck? You guys are unbelievable. Getting on there, baby. Got you, Drew. Sheila Duffy with the 99 getting on there. Holy shit, guys. You guys are insane this morning. Gotcha.
Did you check the victim for any vital signs?
Yes,
Did you check her carotid pulse?
I did.
On what side of her neck did you check her? Well, first of all, I guess you should tell us, where do you check carotid pulses?
The carotid artery runs, there's a branch on either side of the neck.
May the record reflect when the witness indicated on either side of the neck he was pointing to basically just beneath his chin on either side of his Adam's apple.
Correct.
Can you check the carotid pulse on the right side as well as the left side?
Yes, you can.
Which side did you check the victim's carotid pulse on, if you recall?
As I recall, it was the patient's right side, the exposed side.
Did you move her head in any way to check her carotid pulse?
Not to check the pulse, no.
What other vitals did you check?
I assessed her respiratory status.
Nose is killing
What
me
does
this
that
morning,
mean?
guys.
I listened to her lungs to see if she was breathing, exchanging any air.
Did you do that vis-a-vis a stethoscope?
Yes,
Okay. And what was your finding?
that she was not breathing.
What was your finding with regard to your checking of her carotid pulse?
I felt no pulse.
Did you check her airway?
I did. In order to determine that she was breathing, I manipulated the patient's head or the victim's head as minimally as possible just to open the airway.
All right. If there was blood, sir, on her right ear, in her hair, up on her cheek, on the bridge or the top of her nose, is it conceivable that you smeared that blood to her ear, hair, cheeks, and top of her nose?
It's conceivable.
How did you touch her face?
Ghoul's still hanging.
With gloved hands on either side of the jaw and bringing the face somewhat to a midline versus the angle she's in, and attempting to thrust the jaw forward slightly.
Okay. And you were using your fingertips to indicate to the jurors exactly how you were repositioning her head.
Yes.
Were you doing that in order to minimize any contamination of the body?
Yes.
Are you trained to minimize contamination or moving of evidence on a decedent's body?
Yes.
Were you attempting to follow that training
That's the worst.
when you were moving slightly
Allergies are terrible
the victim's
usually.
head to reposition her to check for the airway response?
Yes, I was.
All right, take a look again at...
Oh, shit. Gotcha, Jen. You want Drew on there twice.
Take a look, if you will. This is May I approach? You want me to
I love it. Best people. Kindest
Take a look at
folks, man.
people's, I think it's been marked as people's 29. It's a close-up, especially the bottom right photograph. We have another photograph on the overhead of the victim's face. Actually, Susan, go back to 29. if you don't mind, on the down.
Shit.
I'm sorry.
Taryn Dusty, who got gifted a membership, repaying the favor by gifting out another membership, and this time Ms. Wildside got that son of a bitch. So welcome in here. Hell yes. What I'm talking about, baby. We do have the kindest people, like the best community. It's not even a question, Shannon. Like, everyone's so freaking cool, so freaking nice. Like, it's insane. Thank you so much. Everyone, welcome in here. Craziness. Taryn getting on there again. Another chance. And possibly another shirt past winter.
Okay.
Where we at?
Now we're looking at the same thing. We will be in a second. Okay, take a look at People's 29.
I think we're there.
Photograph
Oh, I think we're
B,
there.
if you don't mind. And in your... I'm sorry. Where's 29?
12. We are there for a spin, baby. Let me get it ready.
Sorry about that.
Let me get that thing ready. I'll fix my hat. You guys see that? And then I act like I'll scratch my head. Susan!
There we go. Okay. Take a look at photograph E on People's 29, finally. You indicated that you sort of delicately touched her cheeks in order to move her head slightly to the left and right.
More the jawline itself than the cheeks.
Okay. Did you touch her ears?
No.
Did you touch the bridge of her nose?
No.
Did you touch the upper part of her cheeks underneath her eyes?
No.
Okay, so if in fact blood appeared in the hair, the right ear, up on the bridge of the
shit.
nose,
Let me
the
see,
cheeks,
Debbie.
where I'm pointing left and right, did you put that blood there?
No.
Okay. So when you indicated just a second ago that it's conceivable that you could have moved some blood, are you talking about a slight amount of blood around her jawbone area?
Yes.
Okay. If there was other blood smeared around her face, ear, hair, the bridge of her nose, you did not do that?
Correct.
Okay.
I don't think I did get that, Debbie.
And this is how she appeared when you saw her, correct?
Yes.
So that blood was already
check
smeared
that.
where it is now when
Let me
you
go in there and
first
actually
saw her.
log in.
Yes.
So however that blood got smeared, it was done before you ever made contact with the victim. Is that right?
Yes.
Getting back to the vital signs, do you also check for a pain, Sudi, we can take that off. Do you also check for a pain response, sir?
Yes, I do.
How do you do that?
By applying if I may, putting a pen between the patient's fingers and then squeezing the fingers together, it provides enough pain that a patient would normally try to withdraw their hand.
Okay. May the record reflect the witness has indicated a writing pen, P-E-N, placed between the index and middle finger of his left
Appreciate
hand,
that,
and
Dave.
squeezing the two fingers together at the tips.
Morning, Gabby.
Did the victim in this case have
I
any
see
pain
that
response
guy.
whatsoever?
She did not.
Did you also check any pupillary response?
Yes, I believe I did,
Do you need to refresh your recollection
if I may.
with the court's permission?
Yes.
Yes, after assessing her pupils, I found them to be fixed in midpoint.
What did that tell you? The pain, the negative results from the pain response and the negative results from the pupillary response coupled with the other vital signs that you had checked?
That the patient was dead.
Did you check the victim for any specific gunshot wounds or injuries?
I did attempt to determine a specific injury for my purposes in order to document an injury consistent with why the patient was found dead on scene. With the permission of an officer on scene, and I don't recall the officer's name, I asked, can I move her head a little bit more so that I can try to find a wound? And he said, try to keep it to a bare minimum. Having lifted the patient's hair and peered around the right side of the patient's head, I was unable to find any specific entrance or exit wound consistent with a gunshot. And I was told at that time, don't disturb anything further. We'll let the coroner determine those injuries.
So your review of her head and neck area for injuries was, it's safe to say, at a bare minimum.
Correct.
All right. At the direction of any of the officers at the scene, did you place any electrodes or patches on the victim to finally check for any vital signs?
Yes, I did.
Describe that for the jurors, please.
Using a heart monitor, we applied 4 electrode patches, 2 just below the clavicles and 2 on her mid-thigh, so that we can visually see an electronic response of any heart rhythm, and there was none.
Do you know what asystole means?
Yes,
What does that mean?
it means without rhythm, without electrical activity.
What those of us in the lay community might call flatline.
Correct.
Was she flatline?
Yes.
Based on your entire review, sir, and all of your experience as a paramedic, what were your findings as to the ultimate determination of death for the victim after you got through with all of your assessments?
That she was dead, that she had been dead a significant, well, enough time that there was no appropriate resuscitative measure called for.
Was there a time that you actually made a determination of death and jotted that time down or noted that time?
Yes.
What time was that?
6:25.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
Thank you. Cross-examination.
Young black economist coming through. What's up? Yeah, this is a firefighter / EMT, Gabby. I think that's how it was put down here. Firefighter / paramedic.
Paramedic Riggs, firefighter Riggs, what do you prefer?
Mr. Riggs is fine,
Mr.
thank
Riggs,
you.
hi. I am Linda Kenny Bodden, and I'm going to be cross-examining you on behalf of Mr. Spector, okay? you additionally, when you got to the scene, I think you just told Mr. Jackson that you saw about 6 people in the foyer area that we've seen pictures of, or foyer area?
An approximation, yes.
Okay. And did you see any of those people reflected in the pictures that you just saw of the foyer area and the decedent?
No.
Okay. And were you ever asked to diagram where you had seen the pictures in the foyer area of people? Okay. And did you know any of the names of the pictures in the foyer area where the decedent was when you got there?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Did you see, were you wearing gloves?
Yes, I was.
Did you see anybody else in the area wearing gloves?
I don't recall.
Okay. And when you came into the house, by the way, and you had been staged outside, you actually had a conversation when you were down at the hill with one of the officers from Alhambra, correct?
Not at the bottom of the
That's a
hill,
good
but
stash. That's a
just
damn good
outside the
stash right
gate,
here.
Yes.
Just outside the gate, okay. And
Slightly comes
was
down.
it
You
a
just got the
police
tip of the
officer you
bars
knew?
on the side.
No.
Okay. But you asked the police officer what a DB is,
All right,
correct?
work on this wheel.
No, I asked the police officer if this was a DB,
If this was a DB. What is a DB?
a dead body.
Okay. And as a result of that, he told you that it was, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then you advised the police officer, correct me if I'm wrong, that if they wanted to preserve the crime scene and avoid having more people involved, they could do without you, right?
Correct.
Because you told the police officer that they could tell whether the body had been deceased, correct?
Yes.
All right. And even though you told the police officer that if they wanted to preserve the scene intact, they could do without you, they still asked you to come in, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And when you came to the house up at the top, you were told to watch your step very carefully, right?
Yes.
And what is your understanding as to why you should watch your step very carefully when you come into any scene that could be considered a crime scene or a death scene?
My understanding was I was advised to watch my steps so that I didn't disturb any evidence.
Okay? And you know then your training as a paramedic that disturbing any evidence could be important, right?
Yes.
All right. But whenever you come, is it fair to say, to any
It's beside
scene
me
where
over
there
here,
has been a
like a rat
decedent,
laying here. Could possess me at any moment.
You understand that you're going to have to disturb some evidence because you have to touch the body, right?
Yes.
And you're going to have to walk through the area to get to the body, correct?
Yes.
So every time you go into a place to perform your job, you understand there's going to be some disturbance of the scene, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And in this type of situation, you told the police
Look at 'em.
officers that because this was a dead body, they could actually not have you come in and do those further disturbances, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you were dispatched here in the first place, I think you said that you were dispatched as a report of shots
Let
fired.
me fill this thing out here.
We were advised by our captain that there was a possible report of shots fired.
Not one shot, but shots fired, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you didn't know
Dan's
when
on
you
this wheel.
came to Grandview whether or not that was correct or not, whether it had been shots, no shots, 1 shot, or 10 shots, right?
I didn't know.
All right. And when you examined the decedent, you were looking to see evidence of a bullet wound, right?
I was looking for a wound.
A wound, right? But you knew that there'd been a report for shots, right?
Yes.
And so were you particularly looking for possibly a bullet wound?
That was on my list, yes.
Okay, that was on your list along with other things.
Yes.
Right. Because you want to be objective and you don't want to discount anything until you get to a scene as a paramedic, right?
Correct.
Is it fair to say that your initial or your main purpose of going to a scene is to render assistance?
Yes.
Okay. And here, there was no assistance that you could render, obviously.
Correct.
Okay. And usually the assistance would be to a person who is living and hopes to save their life and get them treatment as fast as possible.
Ready to rock, baby.
Now, you indicated to Mr. Jackson that after performing your examinations, you could not find on the outside of the body any evidence of a gunshot wound or any wound, right?
Correct.
All right. And so that when you finally performed the analysis, the EKG analysis and the other analysis, at that point, you made no determination of whether or not this was a gunshot wound or not, did you?
I made no determination of the cause of death.
Of the cause of death, because
He
that's
stares
not
at
your
everyone
area.
like that.
Correct.
Like,
In any event, you could not see
absolute
that was
psychopath.
easily accessible or seeable to you any indication that there was a gunshot wound outside the face.
Correct.
Okay. Now, in addition to the reports, and you did an EMT report on this, correct?
An EMS report, yes.
Right. And
Dizzy with the share out there this morning. Appreciate it. Boston Mike with the share out there this morning. Appreciate it, guys. Hell yeah.
an EMS report.
Getting the word out.
Emergency
Spreading the
medical
good
services
word of the
report.
church.
Sometimes it's called emergency medical technician or service. Not here.
Okay.
Okay, all right. And that really tells you the time that you come and how long you're called in, and it's basically a record, so you know when you came, what the response time was, and what the
See
result
what
was.
this coffee's
right?
doing over here. I'm
Now,
going to have to get it
I
to cool
noticed
down.
that when Mr. Jackson was asking
one of these
you
Yeti
questions,
mugs, they stay warm
a number of
forever
times you
with the lid on.
responded with the word that you had looked at the victim.
Linda Bodden.
Did you know what the circumstances of the shooting were at the time you were
Don't see much
making
of her
your
in this.
examination?
I enjoy her.
No.
Okay. So when you go to any scene, you can go to a scene to render assistance, whether it be a crime or whether it be a self-inflicted type wound somebody gives, correct?
Yes.
And you would not use, or would you use the term victim in describing a person who had been shot by their own hand?
No, generally I use the word patient.
Okay. And so when you use the word victim here, had you already made an assessment at the time you were there that she was a victim?
No.
Have you made an assessment yourself since that she's a victim?
Not necessarily, no.
Right, because that's not within your purview, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so when you get into the house, and I understand you had a partner with you, right?
Yes.
And the partner's name was Mr. Marino?
Correct.
Okay. And he was told to stay outside the house.
Yes.
And the reason your understanding is that he was told to stay outside the house was because the more people who traipsed into a scene, whether it be a crime scene or a death scene, the more likely that evidence could be removed or contaminated. Correct?
Objection, Your Honor, that calls for speculation as well.
It's asking his understanding. I'll allow that. Overruled.
That is my understanding.
Okay. And that's part of the training that you have,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Vicious is a good
because
word.
sometimes you have to work hand in hand
This
with the
looks
police
like a
department
piece
on
of
cases,
shit.
whether they be death scenes or crime scenes, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you were, at that point, you brought in your drug box.
Yes.
What is a drug box?
A large plastic box. It's would also commonly be referred to as a first aid kit.
Okay. All right. And you said that you also made notes about this incident, correct?
That's correct.
And you made the notes beginning on February 4th as a follow-up to, or let me ask you this, you made the notes first on February 4th, correct? To start. Would you like to see a copy? Would that help refresh you?
I have a copy.
You have a copy?
As
Okay.
I recall, I made them upon returning to the station that same morning.
Okay. Does it refresh your recollection as to the top of the notes as to what the date is on them? And if it's okay if you look, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. I don't think I need to mark them.
I see that, yes, February 4th.
Okay. So does that refresh your recollection that you made the notes beginning on February 4th, 2003?
I think so too, Simi.
Yes.
All right. And you actually went to Grandview on February 3rd, 2003?
The older I get, the more I try to rationalize information that I get even after forming an opinion. I mean, I think that's the way anybody should be doing it. I mean, it's easy to get stuck in your ways, and I can do that. I can do that also, but I can in real time do a really weird thing where I can be sticking my heels into the mud, right? I'm not budging. And then like in real time, I can see the other side And I really do. I try to, in real time, I try to do that publicly on X. I try to do that publicly on here. If I'm wrong, if I think I'm being steered the wrong direction, or if my opinion was wrong, I try to acknowledge that in real time, man. I think everyone should do that. It's so easy to just get stuck in your ways and, no, this is the way because somebody told me about this, and that person probably read it on the internet from somebody else that was told something that didn't actually get the facts. Come on, let's calm down.
Now,
Try to grow, man.
Why did you make these notes?
I'm wrong all the fucking time.
Because it was anticipated that this was a crime scene and that it might involve a trial.
It's easy to do.
Who told you that this may be a crime scene?
My captain,
Okay, and what is your captain's name?
Mark Lingle, Lingle.
Got a wheel ready to rock and roll also.
And,
We'll do that here in just a moment,
when
guys.
did he tell you
Give out a shirt this
that
morning.
this may be a crime scene as opposed to a death scene?
Meg P.
After we
says,
returned
let me
to the
start that
station.
new wheel up.
Okay. And,
Oh, Jersey Gin's
he
getting on
asked
there.
you
Never
to make
mind.
these
Meg P,
notes
thank you
in
for that.
addition to the
$1.99
normal
for Jersey
report you
Gin.
would
I'm starting the
have
new wheel, baby,
so
with
that
Jersey
you would
Gin on it.
have, complete notes to refresh
Gotta get
your
her a shirt
recollection
now
to
after that
record
coffee
what happened on that
mug she
evening,
got.
right?
Yes,
And so that if there was any confusion as to what happened on that evening, you could refer back to your notes to get it exactly the way it should be,
Yes.
what happened. Right, okay. Now, when you came in, you were led to the decedent who was seated in a chair in a slouch position, correct?
yes,
Okay. And her feet were straight out, correct?
yes,
And did you write in your notes that her chin was resting on her chest?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And you were also interviewed later on in March by someone from the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, right?
Yes,
Okay. Did you ever tell the person you were interviewed that her head was slumped forward in the center of her chest?
not that I recall.
Okay. Did you ever tell the person you were interviewed that you saw blood stains on both the right and left jacket?
Not that I recall.
Okay. Now, on the floor in front of her were also what you appeared to see as taser leads, right?
Yes,
Okay. And we're up to double A, I guess, now?
Double A would be your next exhibit.
I love that Gabby's in the Discord because she's always posting like food that she's fixing, and I'm looking at her dinner last night and it looks fucking dank. Anybody's not in the Discord, jump in there. A lot of conversations happening all the time now. Loving it.
Can you see that from there, or would you like to see the picture, the closer picture?
but specifically, what am I looking for? I can see the picture, but some detail is lost.
Yes, I'll tell you what, let me give you the picture if it'd be easier.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh,
the
shit.
bottom-
Now we have a, paying it forward type situation in the chat happening with the wheel. Jersey Gin, $2 holler. Please put Simi Sharp's name on the wheel. Absolutely, Jen. Love that. Love the paying it forward
Right,
aspect.
I'm gonna see if I can get
That's
it
really cool.
here.
New wheel being filled now. Simi's on that bastard. Let's
Or
go.
I guess in the middle, right. You see this object here?
Yes.
Do you know what that object is?
As I recall, it's a police shield.
Was that object here?
Bumblebee, welcome in
when
here.
you entered
I
the
get it,
house
I get it.
that morning?
Murder Church does come
Yes.
early.
Okay. Did you ask anybody as to why that object was there?
No.
Did you have to step over that object, or did you come in from this way?
I came in from the bottom of this picture.
The bottom of this picture up?
Yes.
Okay. Did you make a recording of that object being there and any notes that you had or any other documents that you possessed with regard to this matter?
Yes, in my supplemental notes.
And your supplemental notes, okay? And when you saw the decedent...
Morning, Bobby. Welcome in here.
You indicated that you did check her pulse, correct?
Yes.
And that's what you talked to here, that you put your hands, when you did earlier, on the
Yes.
sides of her neck, like I'm doing here?
Yes.
Resting below my chin, kind of touching the chin line?
I was assessing for the pulse more to the side of the windpipe.
More to the side of the wound, over here?
Yes.
Am I doing it correctly? Sort
It
of?
appears so from here, yes.
Okay, all right. And you were wearing gloves when you did that, right?
Yes.
All right. What happened to the gloves that you had, that you used to assess the
Nice.
decedent?
Welcome in there. I do chill on Jay's a lot, and I promote on Jay's a lot. But yeah, we have our own also. Thanks a lot. Hell yeah.
I don't recall.
Trying to get her going.
Did anyone ask you to leave the gloves at the
With
scene
as many people as in
to
there.
be collected?
It's hard to get the conversations flowing. It's
Not
starting
that
to
I
happen though. It's
specifically
cool.
recall.
Okay.
Yes.
And you also indicated you
Love
checked
it.
for the
Kai's in there,
pupil
too.
response in her left eye, was it?
I don't recall which eye.
All right. Do you have your notes in front of you?
Yes.
Would they help refresh your
Shit.
recollection?
Wheels grow and Bumblebee. Gotcha.
Look at the bottom third of the 3 paragraphs.
Yes, her left eye.
Okay. Now, when we saw pictures that you identified for Mr. Jackson, the decedent's head was like this. So you want to round her and check the response in the left eye over here?
I reached across her face, yes.
Meg P's on there. Pastor
you
Steve, can you please add Dizzy to the will? Yes, I can. Dizzy on that son of a
Move her
bitch. Thank
face
you,
to
Meg.
check the
Meg being
response
extremely
in the
generous
left
out
eye.
here.
No, not for pupil response, other than lifting the eyelids.
You did lift the eyelids.
Yes.
Build another
Okay.
will.
And did you lift both eyelids
8 names
down,
from a second spin.
or just one?
Thank you so
Just
much.
the left.
Okay. And was that with the same, you didn't change your gloves, you used the same gloves, I assume, through the whole examination?
Yes.
Okay. And
Oh, I got that,
after
Debbie. Debbie Blair, got that in the chat. Thanks for the great content. $10 through the PayPal. Thank you so much, Debbie. And you are on that wheel, baby. We're not messing around. I don't know if anybody knows that or not. We don't mess around.
Son of a bitch!
Gotcha, Debbie. Thank you so much.
Also, you said that you lifted her
That's crazy.
hair and moved her head slightly from side to side, correct?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I have a little bit different view of a
7
picture.
names away.
It shows.
Got to sip a little coffee, though.
Mark this one BB. Jennifer, it's 2.076. .076. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring you, if it's okay with Your Honor, the original.
Yes.
So I know it's a little hard to see because you're down there. Now, let me see. You see the neck area here, that little V area, that little white V area?
Yes.
Okay. Was that there when you moved her head from side to side?
Yes, it was.
And it's kind of a little area there that looks a little devoid of blood? You see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Debbie,
Now,
thank you.
when you first saw her, her chin was resting on her chest right where that area would be, correct?
I don't recall that it was in the center.
Okay. In your notes, you indicated her chin was resting on her chest. Is your testimony that you don't recall today it was?
That it was on her chest. I don't recall specifically where.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Then you wanted to look at more, visualize more any possible injuries, and again, you moved her head slightly from side to side, right?
Yes.
And then you came back and you patched her up to the monitor, correct?
Yes.
And in the pictures, those patches are seen down here, correct?
Yes.
All right. Did anyone ask you to collect those patches and preserve them?
No.
Did you look to see whether any of those patches went on the 2 patches that were up here, whether when they were removed, they took off any blood from either her body or her jacket?
I didn't look to see.
Okay. Did anyone ask you to leave the patches there?
Yes.
Who asked you to leave the patches there?
A police officer who was photographing.
Okay. Did you assume those patches were going to be collected?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Brooklyn getting
when
on the
you
wheel
were
thanks to Meg.
interviewed
Wow,
on,
Meg this morning is being
March
incredibly
10th,
generous. This is crazy.
By someone from the Los
Wow.
Angeles Sheriff's
Brooklyn
Department.
on that thing. Thank you so much, Meg.
Did you ever tell anybody that her head,
Building that second wheel
decedent's
right
head,
up.
could be positioned over her left shoulder as a result of your brief examination?
Yeah,
of
after
her?
this video, we got about 13 more minutes or so, 14 more minutes. We will do a will spin this morning, folks, so stick around.
I don't recall the specifics of the interview.
Okay. May I approach her?
Do a wig change on our own here.
So it's
There's that son of a bitch. Ah!
here. I'm going to ask you to
Straight
read
on
this to
shot.
yourself from down here.
Okay.
I think it ends here.
Okay.
Okay. And then when you tell, if you could just tell me, I'm going to stay here just so I don't have to keep walking.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Did that help refresh your recollection as to whether or not you indicated in the past that you could have easily positioned her head over her left shoulder as a result of the brief examination of the decedent?
Yes, it did.
Okay. And you did tell that to one of the detectives from the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, correct?
Yes, I did.
Now, you also indicated that you placed the 4 patches. 2 of them were on her thighs, correct?
Yes.
Did you have to move her slip in any way to put the patches on her thighs?
I pinched the stockings and tore a hole large enough for the patch.
Okay. And do you remember exactly
Yeah, that was
where
definitely
on the
where I
thigh
lived, too.
that was, if you remember?
I grew up on a black and white TV pretty deep into really, like, I remember stuff actually changing when Bill Clinton was president. Like, I'm not getting political here, but I do remember, I was born in 86, and I remember the early days we were fucking poor, like really poor. Only had one TV in the living room. I lived in a trailer also. Like, you know, we didn't have a lot. And I lived with my grandma who, you know, was a cleaner at a hospital. So yeah, we didn't. But I remember there was a point in time where I actually ended up with a color television in my own room. So things did start to get a little bit better. But no, when I was really young, yeah, black and white TV at that in the living room watching stuff. And I think it was just the basic cable.
Okay. All right. Now, with regard to the other 2 patches, I'm going to show you another
I'm a big
picture.
TV nerd.
Jennifer, it's 1202, Counsel.
You need this marked?
Yes, I do. That would be CC on it.
Yes.
And if I could bring it also up to them.
All right.
Okay, it's funny you should mention that, Meg, because I was watching, literally, because I can't get away from this website, Nickelodeon was recorded, and this is from like 1987, January 3rd, 1987. I was watching an episode of Double Dare, again, recorded on the actual day of January 3rd, 1987, with original commercials. I was 3 months old when that happened, okay? And then the very next thing that aired after that episode of Double Dare was that Monkeys television show. Oh, dude, yes, I love those. I watched a lot of old wrestling too, and those were, luckily a lot of people would record that stuff, and you get those old TV commercials. Oh my God, I love those. Yep, that was me as a kid. Yo, where's the pickles? Good morning.
Okay.
Yes.
And
I'm still
down here,
fighting from Friday too.
that round circle,
into Saturday.
that's one of the patches, areas that you put?
It is one of the areas. It's not a patch, no.
No, it's not. I'm sorry. I apologize. You're right. It's not a patch. But when you take the patch away, it leaves that round circle.
It could have left that, yes.
Okay. And then do you know how it was that after you took the patch away, that this blood is in the area of the round circle?
No, I don't.
That's awesome. Love old stuff. I can't get away from, like, there's so much, and I'm just totally going off here for a minute here. Welcome to Murder Church. But I love old stuff so much. I love new stuff. There's tons of new awesome stuff out there. Good morning, Shelly. Pokemon coming through here. Hope you had a great weekend. I love old stuff so much, though, that I can't get away from it to enjoy the new stuff. Like, love old television, old movies. Like, I don't know how people get and I do, people today, a lot of people don't even like watching that stuff. Like, if it has the old vibe, they don't want to even see it, especially younger folks, whatever. And I'm a 37-year-old dude. Like, it's not like I'm old, but I've always been like that. I love the old television. I love watching the original airings if possible. It just, there's a vibe to it that you can't, like, that nostalgia feel from that specifically when it's the actual airings is something that is almost unmatched to me.
Okay.
It's
And
almost
that's
like a
one of
drug.
the patches, again, that you left
It went so good.
on
Had an
the,
insane night.
floor to be collected by somebody else, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then you also indicated, did you not in the past, that you did see blood stains on the right side of her jacket and on her jacket lapel, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you look to see if there were any, are you trained, let me just go back, are you trained in the area of microscopic blood stains?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So you're not trained to identify blood spatter, correct?
I'm
And
not.
you're not trained to identify a microscopic tissue spatter or anything of that sort, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So when Mr. Jackson was asking you about blood flow, really that's all you're trained in, not the scientific area of blood spatter, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you called the notes that you wrote a supplemental report.
My own personal supplemental notes, yes.
Okay, so that when you had your formal EMS report for 2-3, the notes that you wrote subsequently are considered your own personal supplemental report, correct?
Correct.
And you actually handed them in to the district attorney sometimes subsequently as supplemental notes, correct?
As requested, yes.
As requested. Now, did you ever see any of the officers that you saw in the foyer area again?
It's possible. I don't know.
If you remember.
I don't remember.
Okay. Now, one of the things you did see in the foyer area was an air taser lead, correct?
I just kind of want to show you guys what I'm talking about here real quick. So this website, and I'll put this in, the searching on here is crazy because there's so many areas that you can go to. You almost need to know where you're going, but I did want to kind of show you where I'm at and why I'm so freaking addicted to this. Hold on, let me drop this. And it's for a nostalgia freak like me, like it's pretty cool. Let me get all this out of the way. So this is the website. It's called archive.org, Internet Archive. And people put tons of stuff on here. Like, just for reference, WFLD Channel 32 All in the Family bumper from 1983. Here is a commercial bumper from WFLD Channel 32's showing of All in the Family. This is an original recording from Friday, May 13th, 1983. And they have the YouTube channels connected to this too. This is Fuzzy Memories TV, but it's endless. Like, it's endless. I've been getting lost in all of the different, but again, it's very, very vast. It's almost too much because it breaks your brain a little bit, but I can't get enough of it.
Okay. And Jennifer, 2.085, counsel. And Your Honor, I would mark this.
As double D?
Is that okay? Can you see that from here? Rather than
Yes,
me bring
I
that
can.
closer to you? And is this the item, air taser?
I think so. I think I was born in the wrong
leads that
time,
you
Rachel.
talked about seeing in the foyer area?
All I remember seeing were the leads themselves.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm a walking encyclopedia on the history of channel and broadband. In 1989, only about 53 million households had cable, and there were 90 million households. I love stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like that's so trippy to me. Like, a large part of the world is, I mean, a large part of the world, but let's just stick with America for a second. A large part of America didn't get television vastly cable-wise until deep into the 90s and even the early 2000s. Where I lived, we had cable and we had decent television, but just for example, Dan and me didn't grow up together. I grew up with my grandparents. He grew up with my mom and dad. We only seen each other on the weekends. We have a very unique relationship. That's why I think we're so close now. We didn't get to spend a lot of time together weekly as kids. We, the times we did have to have together, it was awesome. Summer was a little different, when we were out of school, but Dan had channels where he lived only 30 minutes away, in West Virginia. I lived in Virginia, but 30 minutes away, he had totally different channels. He had Comedy Central. He had really cool channels that I didn't have. He would record stuff for me and bring it down to my house on the weekends, and we would watch, this wild shit that he would have on his cable that I wouldn't have. Like, things used to be way, way different. So, I like where we're at now. You can go on the internet and watch this shit, right? I can time jump to the 70s or the 60s and watch some television with actual commercials from the time period and just have a nostalgia bomb hit me in the face, and I love it. But very unique time periods to grow up in.
All right, and then
I think so too, maybe a little bit. We live in weird times now. Everything's so fucking weird.
Jennifer, 2.1,
Too much for people's brains.
2.116, that would be double E.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you saw the leads, did you notice whether or not that lead that's here was under the decedent's shoe?
I didn't remember specifically its location.
Did you pick up her shoes in any way while you were there?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Did you touch the bottom of her sole in any way while you were
But
there?
they're out there, Kaya. Hold on. Who remembers the days of our lives when, like, what was that one chick's name? That one chick was, like, possessed. I mean, he had, like, Stefano, who was, like, the main villain on there. I don't remember that blonde chick's name.
Okay. Did anyone explain to you what had happened at the scene before you arrived?
Just for an example, real quick, and this is probably not what you want because it goes back so freaking long, but just look at this. If you really dig through here, look at this for a second. Days of Our Lives, 1977. Days of Our Lives, 1981. Days of Our Lives, 81, random. 83, unknown date. Like, this site's insane. Like, you can find some really nutty stuff. Actually, from November 23rd, 1990, some stuff is not completely recorded, as you can imagine. But, yeah, Days of Our Lives, there's a lot of wild stuff out there, too, for some Days of Our Lives stuff. My grandma used to love that.
Did you know whether or not there had been any altercation at the scene before you arrived?
You definitely found that, Taryn Dusty. I could definitely find that for
Because
you.
your primary focus was completely on rendering aid to
Marlena, yes,
to
Marlena
or a possible
was possessed.
life.
Yeah, to any
That shit was crazy.
injuries.
That shit's fun to
Okay.
watch.
Aside from the supplemental report
I got something to show you.
that you
Okay.
did, your EMS report, did you have any further interviews with anyone from the district attorney's office besides Mr. Jackson?
Yes, somebody came to the station to interview me.
And do you know when that was?
No, I don't.
And is that a different interview than the one that you did with the sheriff's department in March of 2003?
No, those transcripts reflect that interview.
That reflects that interview. Okay, so aside from those interviews, are there any other interviews you've had?
Gotta find it.
Not that I recall.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Your Honor.
Redirect?
Just very briefly, Your Honor.
You may.
Steal these from you. Take a quick look.
All right, so this was pretty cool. I'm going to just show this real quick. So what this is a website that shows, it's called myretrotvs.com, and it filters a lot of different stuff. So you have the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Let's just pick the 90s. And when you go into here, get it so you guys can actually see it real quick. This is super cool though, like especially for nostalgia people like me. Let me make this a bit bigger. So what you have here is you can filter it through cartoons, comedy, commercials, drama, game shows, kids, movies, music, news, other soaps, specials. And what this does is this is basically connected to YouTube, I'm pretty sure. Like this one might not be as crazy as the site I was just showing you because you have to really kind of dig into that site and you can find some wild stuff if you do so. But this one, say you turn the TV on and it just starts playing, okay? I'm going to turn it off because I don't want to get a copyright strike. But let's just say you're looking for soaps. Turn off all of this shit and we're just going to look for soaps.
Holiday songs in one collection.
Random, and it just looks like you're in the 90s. You can flip through the channels.
Do with it because you didn't trust me.
What do you expect?
It's pretty crazy.
Area. I know who I'd call. What is
This would be like, and they're specifically to 90s television also. And again, soap opera stuff, right?
This isn't sanitary.
So it's pretty fucking wild. I'm gonna put this site in the chat there for anybody that wants to go and have a good time with that. It's pretty fun. It's wild, actually.
Okay. Taking a look at...
Oh, man. Legend of the Hidden Temple all day.
No, that's fine. That's the same photo.
It's pretty awesome.
I'm going to approach one more time.
You may.
With course permission. That's an enlargement of the photo.
Yeah, check that out,
D
guys.
on People's 29. Take a glance at that and tell me if, when you spoke to the officers, when you were interviewed, and you indicated that the victim's head, or
the first one is
decedent's head,
this.
was positioned with her chin on her chest. Is that consistent with how,
So-
how you now see that the photograph depicts the person?
Yes.
Okay, so you might have seen her in this position and still written down in your notes, chin on the chest.
I may have.
Okay, you didn't indicate chin over the center of the chest or chin over the left of the...
But, and I just want to, like, that first site's so fucking cool, though, Internet Archive, but what's also on that site? Movies, ebooks, books, text, audio, old radio shows, files. Like, you can, if you really get in there, you can find full seasons inside of links. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, here's that, just Google Internet Archive. This site's freaking nuts. Again, it's a little bit harder to navigate. It's ultimately, like, you have to kind of dig into it, but it's got the goods deep inside of there. The search can be helpful, but also you still have to dig even beyond the searching, because some stuff, I found people on there that are trying to get away from the copyright, so they like spelt names backwards. They don't even put the proper names on there because they don't want to...
When you were answering these questions.
I believe I did.
Did the interviewer actually have these series of
Oh,
photographs?
the interviewer who came to the station?
Correct.
No, there were no photographs
Okay,
in
that's
that
my
interview.
question.
Okay.
When you were answering those questions, you did not have the luxury of looking
Bewitched.
back
Dark
at
Shadows
photographic.
was my mom's. I know, I'm just going crazy today, folks. There's new people in here that are trying to watch this trial. They're probably like, what the fuck's going on? I love Dark Shadows as well. I'm not like, I don't know all the characters and all that, but I used to watch it with my mom. My mom loves Dark Shadows.
Evidence from the scene, correct?
Correct.
Now that you look at these photographs, does that refresh your recollection as to your best memory how the victim's head was when you walked in?
Yes.
Does this look consistent with how you remember the victim's head being positioned when you walked in before you began touching?
Alex Mack's on there for sure. I'm pretty sure the entire seasons of that's on there. Like, I've got a few links upstairs that'll get you to
Ms. Bodden,
into
yeah,
a spot that might even be more helpful. If anybody wants that, I can send it through an email. And that's from digging this last week. Brooklyn, thank you for that share. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Ms. Bodden,
Everybody hanging and banging this morning.
marked
Thanks,
a
guys.
Photograph I'm going to ask you real quickly about.
Coffee's kicking
photograph
in.
Double E.
Getting a
It's
little
defense
wild.
double E. Do you see that?
Yes.
All right, and I'm going to, with the court's permission,
Yes.
I'm going to wear a hole in this carpet. I apologize, Your Honor.
All right.
Take a look at that photograph and tell me, does it appear that the victim's shoe is suspended off the ground?
That's awesome. Mom loved Dark Shadows. She would record it off TV.
Just
Like,
about where that lead touches the bottom of the shoe.
There is some shadow there.
Okay, does that appear to be suspended off the ground?
I love old TV so
Thank you,
much.
that's all I have.
Thank you. Recross.
Yeah, I will, Gabby. I got you.
Mr. Jackson just asked you whether you ever told anyone that whether the victim's head was slumped in the center of her chest. The answer to that is you did, didn't you?
I believe I told somebody that at some point.
Yes, and that would be Detective Katz on March 10th of 2003, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the answer is that you did tell that to the detectives.
Yes.
And you used the word center of the chest, correct?
I don't recall specifically.
May I approach and refresh
If that's
again?
what the transcripts say.
You may.
Okay, thank you.
I just put both of those sites in the Discord, Gabby.
Yes.
Okay. Now, having looked at this document to refresh your recollection, the answer is yes, you do remember telling the detectives that her head was slumped in the center of her chest, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in the scenes that you have gone to before, have you ever seen taser wires under a shoe of a person who is deceased?
No, I haven't.
And one other question is, you did not lift
Yeah, they're
her
free.
hair and
Those
move
are
her
also
head
free.
slightly until you already did the assessment on her carotid arteries and moved her head from side to side, correct?
In assessing the airway, I did move her head just a little bit.
From side to side, correct?
Yes.
And in that, you're wearing gloves so you don't get any blood on you, correct?
Correct.
And after you did that, you did then move her hair a little bit, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. That's all I...
Sound kind of weird. Let me see if I can fix it real quick. Sorry, guys. Sometimes it'll get just a little bit messed up.
Thank you.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Subject to recall, your excuse. Thank you very much for being here. You may step down.
Thank you.
Before you call your next witness, let me, would it help you to go over what you wanted to do now so that we don't have to take a break between direct?
That would be fine.
All right, we'll take our break. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our afternoon recess. Keep in mind the admonition. It may be a few minutes longer. The defense has to go over some
A lot of Disney stuff on there, too.
Hopefully not, but we'll see how we're doing. All right, we're in recess.
All right. Getting ready to go into the next one here. Who we got? Officer Esther Rodriguez, police detective. So we're going to be going into here. We got an 18-minute watch with her. But before we get there, what do we got? What do we got first? First and foremost, we got a wheel spin, everybody. I've got the wheel ready to go. Let me get this thing over here real quick. And we'll be ready to rock and roll, folks. Ready to go. Ready to rock. Thanks a lot. We're on our way to another wheel spin this morning. Again, got some new merch on the shop. Let me just show that off real quick before we do anything. The new Hangin' and Bangin' shirts up there. The Kool-Aid coffee mugs up there. Got a new Murder Church hat. Got the Publicly Buzzed Lightning Bolt shirt. The Dandy Savage sunglasses shirt. The very popular Buzzed Mysteries, play on the Unsolved Mysteries logo. Partner in Crime shirt right here. Murder Church Before Adulting. I know Shelly's rocking one of those. It's summertime. Maybe somebody wants a tank top. There's some cool. Got a Dank shirt. I got an Only Dan shirt. We have some really cool merch. I think we, again, have the coolest merch in true crime. Trying to keep it popping. Trying to make it happen. So let's rock and roll. Let's get a wheel spin. Who's going to win this thing? Let's go. Make sure everyone can see it. Tara and Dusty with the win on that son of a bitch. A little bit of a recoil on that one. Damn. Get in here, Tara and Dusty. Winner, chicken dinner. Getting herself some. Let's go. We're not playing around. What are we doing? Is that not playing in here? Hold on. Why is that not playing? Lord, my stream deck is pissing me off today.
Hold up. Hold up.
Oh yeah, Tyler Dusty, get in here. Let me know. I think you're getting one shirt ordered today from your last win, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? Didn't I say that earlier? Yes. So let me get you under here real quick. Taryn Dusty just won another shirt. And yeah, get me your new shirt and let me know which one you want. And yeah, and I guess the size would probably be the same as the first one here, which I've got written down. So yeah, just get me another shirt that you want in there and we'll get that thing out to you. Let's go, baby, as we are working on yet another will to keep this party moving. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Everybody showing some love in the chat. That's what I'm talking about. We have the most generous folks here at Publicly Buzz in the Buzz Nation growing this thing weekly, which is crazy. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Let's rock. We don't play around. We don't mess around. Every 5 seconds. Whoa, does it? Oh, what's going on? Hello? Hello? That's weird. Huh. I don't know what that would be. Well, let me try to do this. Try to change this, maybe. Hello, hello, hello. This got worried. Hopefully it's not. I don't know what that would be, though. Did it fix itself? Damn, what the fuck? Dizzy says she hears it fine. What the hell? Uh-oh. Okay, we got some people saying it's fine. I don't know what that would be for random people, though, because we got Taryn and Kaya saying they're having issues. Whoa. Weird. That's very strange. I don't know what that would be. Whoa, that's crazy. That's tripping me out. Yeah, maybe refresh, guys. That's crazy. I do know YouTube is glitchy and buggy as hell. Wow. I don't like that at all. Let's keep rolling here a little bit.
ESTHER Rodriguez.
Sound good on does the sound with the trowel sound all right?
Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, officer. Thank you for coming.
Hey, I'm going to do a poll.
I'd like to invite your attention back to February 3rd of 2003. Were you employed at that time?
Yes, I was.
What was your job?
I was a police detective with the Alhambra Police Department.
How long had you been employed with Alhambra Police Department as of that day?
15 years.
So now it's been 19 or so.
Yes, close enough.
By the way, back in February 2003, did you use a different name?
Yes, I did.
And you were then
I hate YouTube, though.
Officer or Detective Pineda?
Very annoying.
Pineda, yes.
Let me get the new name in here.
She said it better than I did. And so now you got married and you're Officer Rodriguez.
Correct.
Okay, thanks. You said that you were working as a detective that day. What was your shift? What were your hours on February 3rd, 2003?
My start time was normally at 6 o'clock in the morning.
And as a detective, did you have a car that was assigned to you, a plane car?
Yes, I did.
And did you drive that back and forth from home to work?
Yes, I did.
On the way to work that day, did you have your police radio on in your police car?
Yes, I did.
Esther
and did you hear some radio traffic
Rodriguez
that changed your plans that morning?
Yes, I did.
What was that radio traffic?
Nice.
It was a call for service regarding a shot heard at the 1600 block of Grandview.
1700?
Perhaps, yes.
Okay.
YouTube knew we were having too much fun in here.
After you heard that radio traffic from Alhambra Police Department that there were shots fired at 1700 Grandview, what did you do?
I telephoned the watch commander's office to let the watch commander know that I was en route and to see if there was any further assistance that I needed to started to plan for.
As a detective, that would be part of your duties, correct?
Yes, it would.
This could have been a serious crime in your city and you needed to be involved. Is that right?
That's correct.
Sudi, could we have People's 21?
Officer, we put up People's 21 here. It's an exhibit with two photographs, A and B. Would you look at those and tell us if you recognize
6 names
the
from a new will
shown in photograph B in People's 21?
Yes, I do recognize it.
Is that where you went that morning?
Yes, it was.
About what time did you arrive?
I arrived at 6:10 in the morning.
What was happening? What was going on there?
It was YouTube. YouTube being fucky this morning.
The location had been secured by the officers, so there was an officer stationed at the front, so I went to speak to the officers that were involved at the scene.
And after you did that, did you just wait for further instructions?
Oh, no, I notified my supervisor.
At some point, did either you suggest or someone else suggest the need for a GSR kit to be done on a person?
I was advised to have that completed on a particular person.
And who advised you to do that?
Sergeant Santana?
And was he the supervisor at that scene at 1700 Grandview that morning?
No, she's my direct supervisor with the Detectives Investigations Unit.
And what did she ask you to do?
She asked me to complete a GSR, a gunshot residue kit, on our reporting party, which was Adriana
Girl.
D'Souza.
Former winner.
What did you do to accomplish that?
Thank you so much.
I initially requested that a GSR kit
Keep
be
that wheel
brought to
going.
the scene because I was
Sheila
standing
Duffy,
next to Mr.
99.
D'Souza.
Keep that wheel going.
Your Honor, I'd like to mark another exhibit, please. This would be People's 41.
Thank
I believe
you,
that's
guys.
our next in order. That's correct. And it's someone I think we all recognize. Do you recognize that person?
Yes, I do.
And is that the person that you were standing next to and that the sergeant, your supervisor, asked you to perform a
Thank you,
GSR
guys.
test on?
Yes, it was.
So after your sergeant asked you to do that, you looked around or requested a GSR kit. Were you successful in finding one?
Yes.
What did you do next?
Well, both of us were at the station when I got the GSR kit.
So how did you get from the scene out at 1700 Grandview to the station?
I drove the police detective unit.
With Mr. D'Souza with you?
Yes, he was.
Okay. And you went back to the police station for the specific purpose to administer this test?
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the test. Did you in your, at that time, 15 years or so training, or experience with the Alhambra Police Department, had you had some training about administering a GSR test?
Yes, I have.
And GSR means what?
Gunshot residue.
Could you explain briefly your training with respect to that test?
The kits that we use, I was taught by either an FTO or also another experienced detective to follow the instructions that are listed on the package. And I completed those on a few other occasions where I have attempted to gain gunshot residue off of the hands
with the 99
of subjects.
Might win one of those shirts.
Over your years of experience, how many times
Thank you so much, Bumblebee.
Administered that test? More than 5, less than 10?
Probably around 5 times.
Okay. In all honesty, it's a pretty easy test to administer, isn't it?
3 names from another
Yes,
spin.
it is.
3
And why
names.
is that?
You guys are
Because the
crazy.
instructions are on the
So
package.
generous.
And there are
Yo,
very few
Sleuthy Goosey
instructions.
in the house. Good morning.
Now, once you got back to Alhambra Police Department that morning,
Having a wild morning in here.
with Mr. D'Souza,
Talking old television, talking old soap operas. What was your soap opera back in the day? Sleuthy Goosey. I know for me, staying home from school was Days of Our Lives with my grandmother. I know she watched some other stuff too. As the World Turns was in there. There's General Hospital, but Days of Our Lives was the wildest. Okay, it was insane. I would imagine some of those actors are still on that show today. Is Stefano even still alive? Is that actor still rolling? He's probably still the main villain on that show. Queen Olive coming through here with a $2 holler. We're about to finish this will out right now, I believe. Holy shit, I think we're 1 name off if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything from the apps real quick. Thank you so much. Olive being incredibly sweet and amazing per usual. Disney Nerd coming through here with a 99 also. Thank you so much. Getting on that will. Possibility of winning a dank-ass Publicly Buzzed t-shirt, if I may say so myself, and I will. And I think we are 1 name away. Also, let me. I am missing one. Dusty Williams coming through here. $5 holler. Taryn Dusty coming through here with a $5 holler on the old Venmo machine, finishing that thing out. And she may honestly win another freaking shirt right now. Holy shit, that would be crazy. And I'm pretty sure I think that's it. I think that's another wheel ready to rock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have a new wheel ready to go, baby. We will spin that son of a bitch as soon as this video ends. We got about another 12 minutes. Wow. Wow. Craziness. Sleuthy didn't watch any. Okay. I didn't watch any, but when I did stay home and they were on with my grandma, I would get into them. I couldn't turn away from them. I was just being 60 freaking years. Holy shit. When I was a kid, I was forced to watch ER and Law & Order. That was my childhood. And if I stayed with my grandpop, it was boxing. It would be on late at night and I'd fall asleep. That sounds awesome. I love memories like that. We were really going down a nostalgia hole earlier. ER and Law & Order, I can see that as well. My grandma on nighttime, she loved freaking Heat of the Night, In the Heat of the Night, talking about a little All in the Family. Same actor there. And Walker, Texas Ranger. She loved a Walker, Texas Ranger.
You found a GSR kit, correct?
Ranger. Can't go around
Yes.
Chuck
And you
freaking
started
Norris.
to administer the test. Is that right?
That's correct.
We got another wheel, baby.
Are all these kits numbered in some fashion?
There's a serial number on them, yes.
Do you recall the serial number of the kit that you used to administer the test to Mr. D'Souza?
Yes.
What number was it?
It's 27637.
27637? Is that correct?
Yes.
And that serial number is somewhere on the outside of the kit, is that right?
That's correct.
Is it also inside, or that same number repeated inside on various items inside the kit?
Yes, it is.
On what items?
It would be on the actual discs, I believe, that are used to collect the gunshot residue.
So while you were there with Mr. D'Souza at the Alhambra Police Department with this kit, briefly go through and tell us how you administered this test to Mr. D'Souza.
Having placed gloves on my own hands, the instructions call for taking one disc and removing like there's a cover on it so that the exposed portion is sticky. And depending on which disc, because it says on the disc, I think L for left and R for right.
So good.
What I happen to do, if it was the right hand, is I would take the sticky portion and basically tap in and around the web of the hand, the inside of the hand, and perhaps some of the fingers, whatever would be exposed in that particular area. Then put the cap on, place it in its proper envelope, and repeat the same process with the other sticky portion.
And you did that with both discs for left and right hand, put them back in the envelopes, correct?
That's correct.
And what did you do then?
Sealed up the envelope and put it into our property system, so I booked it.
You booked it into evidence with the Alhambra Police Department, is that right?
Checked there.
That's correct.
Not bad.
At the beginning of that answer, the one before that, you said that before you administered the test, you put on gloves.
It did. Hold on. I'm an idiot. I just started going crazy with the $5, but there was a message attached to that from Taryn as well. Hold on. Taryn Dusty, passing the offering plate, put Simmy's name on that wheel. So yes, let me put Simmy Sharp as the last name on here. Taryn, passing the goodness. What the hell? Get my notes here. Passing the love of the wheel down the line. And let me get this on here. Boom. Sorry about that, Taryn. My bad. I'm glad you said that. So Simmy Sharp is the last name on that thing.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Some kind of like plastic gloves?
That's correct.
Why?
So the exposed portion of the sticky disc wouldn't pick up anything that would be on my hands and only pick up trace evidence on whoever I was trying to gain the evidence from.
That's because you handle guns too. You're a police officer, isn't that right?
Yes.
So by having the plastic gloves on, you prevented contamination from your person while you were performing the test on Mr. D'Souza. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So you performed the test, booked it in evidence, and is that the last you dealt with Mr. D'Souza that day?
Yes, it was.
Okay. He remained in the station room, perhaps to talk to other people?
I don't remember.
Okay. Thank you. Nothing further.
Officer Rodriguez, my name is Linda Kenny Bodden. How are you?
Good.
Okay, good. All right, I'm going to ask you a few questions on behalf of Mr. Phil Spector, okay? Now, you said that your starting time was 6 a.m. in the morning?
That's my normal starting time, yes.
Had you were en route to the police department in an unmarked car, and then you didn't get to the police department? Is that my understanding of your testimony? You went
I'm
right to
telling you.
Alhambra? To Grandview?
sorry.
Did you go to the police department or did you go to Alhambra first, the Grandview Avenue address?
I believe I went to the Grandview address first.
Yes. And Mr. Dixon asked you a question. He said that's because there could have been a serious crime and you needed to be there, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And in fact, you filed the police report on this case on February 3rd, 2003, correct?
I wrote a report regarding that.
You wrote a report regarding that, okay. And in that report, you indicated that there was a crime, correct?
That's correct.
And you indicated the crime on February 3rd, 2003 as murder, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You also indicated that when you went to Alhambra, when you wrote this report, that you entered a crime scene, correct?
Yes.
And so you made that assumption immediately on February 3rd, 2003, correct?
What assumption?
That it was a crime scene.
Yes.
Right. And in fact, you went back to the Alhambra address on February 4th, correct?
Yes.
And you called it a crime scene on that date also, correct?
Yes.
And you went back again on February 7th, right?
Yes.
And you called it a crime scene on that day also, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And when you did interviews of, you also interviewed paramedic, Riggs, right?
I don't recall an interview with him.
Right. But in any event, in the report that you drafted on February 3rd and February 4th, you called the 1700 Grandview address a crime scene, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you got to the Alhambra address, the front doors were wide open, were they not?
Yes, they were.
Okay. And you said that there were several officers in the foyer?
No, Jackson, that misstates the evidence. You know,
Sustain, you may rephrase or ask it in a different.
Did you
goes beyond the scope of direct also.
Well, I sustain the objection.
Okay. Before you decided that there was a GSR kit, or requested to take a GSR kit on Mr. D'Souza, did you know why you were requested to take a GSR kit on him?
Jackson irrelevant. He was asked to do it.
Sustain.
Okay. You were asked to do a GSR kit, correct?
Yes.
And did you take Mr. D'Souza from the 1700 address back to the police station?
Yes, I did.
And you already been at the 1700 address, correct?
Yes.
For how long?
For how long between what time periods, ma'am?
We've already took Mr. D'Souza back to the Alhambra.
Or we got to the station at 7:45, Mr. D'Souza and myself.
Okay, so that would be one about, you left about Alhambra when then?
Four months. Wow, time is flying. Yosemite Sam wants you to remember to say your prayers and thank you, Steve, for your outstanding channel. You the big boss man, WWF. Love the big boss man. Actually, I was watching a little NWA from Jim Cornette when he debuted. Woo! Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Okay, that's fine.
It only takes me about 5 minutes from that location, so I left at 7:35.
Okay, and then had you done anything else when you were at the scene? As I said, you indicated in your report that you wrote that it was a crime scene right on February 3rd. Okay, had you yourself then done anything at the scene, any investigation at the scene? Anything at the scene?
Yes.
Okay, what did you do?
I spoke to him. I made some inquiries with the officers that were at the scene.
I do see, and I hope everything's good, and I see that a young black economist said that there might be some frames dropped. I do see that maybe, I don't know if it's my internet or what, but YouTube is having a little bit of a struggle. It's on the struggle bus right now, trying to keep up with everything, so hopefully we...
Officer Henry Reyes and Officer Garrett Kennedy.
Okay. And after making it, you drafted your report sometime
Yeah, I
during
think
February
that is
3rd, correct?
my internet.
I started my report, yes.
All right. Had you to the coroner?
No.
Besides interviewing...
I guess I'm not clear as to what time period you're speaking about.
Before drafting the first...
Yes.
Yeah, it's going in and out. I can actually watch it go in and out. Damn. It even says stream status poor. YouTube is not receiving enough info, which is time, so fuck. Hopefully we'll keep rolling here a little bit.
did you, the paramedic, was doing?
Objection, relevancy.
I think this is going far beyond. It doesn't go to the subject matter you indicated sustained.
Okay, so as a crime of murder, right?
Yes.
Thank you, I have nothing further.
Thank you. Redirect.
You told Ms. Kenny Bodden a number of times that this was a crime scene in your mind. Is that because there was a person shot and dead there? And there were police officers there in yellow tape? And
The question is leading. If you can rephrase it in a non-leading fashion.
why did you think this was a crime scene?
Thank you. Recross.
Is that the only reason?
No, it's not.
And the other reason is because you'd already talked to Mr. D'Souza, correct?
That's correct.
And you accepted
Other
accurate and
tabs,
true,
CH.
correct?
Yes.
And you didn't do any further investigation?
Another
All right,
minute of
ladies and
this, and we're
gentlemen,
going to see what we're going to do.
sometimes during trials, we run out of witnesses. We try not to.
See it.
We have run out of witnesses. That does happen. It's have to go with it when it does. We're going to be in recess. Now, tomorrow, we will not be in session. As you know, or you should know, or perhaps you don't, some of the attorneys in the case are not from Los Angeles. They have requested, since the Memorial Day holiday is coming up, a chance to reconnect with their families, which is reasonable for you as well. It gives you an extra day, and I see smiles and nods, and that's fine. Whatever keeps the trial moving and together over the long run actually works all day. Looking at the